in the book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 28, there's a verse that talks about Abagus, who, from the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, was told that there was going to be great dearth in the land. And that word dearth means famine or scarcity of harvest. So there's going to be a scarcity of harvest in the land. And the disciples, according to each one's ability, sent victuals or sent relief to the people in Judea. Shalom, it's Fallen Yeshua. Welcome again to the Rock. Why am I bringing that up? I'm bringing that up because I'm going to do a little mini-series talking about the different events in the Bible where there were famines, where the Bible mentions famine. And when famine affected those, not just the heathen, not just the wicked, because somehow we get this perception that famine only affects those that are wicked, the heathen. No, famine affects everybody. But as we see in that story of Abagus, what the Most High does is he shows people, he allows certain signs to be seen so that people can prepare for these times instead of running around acting like it's not going to happen or acting like everything's going to be fine. He sent, in this case, the Holy Spirit to Abagus, again, Acts chapter 11, verse 20 and 29, to let him know that a famine was coming. So we're going to go through some stories in the Bible, and we're going to talk about famine, scarcity of food. Because famine does not mean that there is no food. Famine means there's a scarcity, meaning it's not as abundant as it usually is. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that everyone's running around starving, dying from starvation. It just means, we think of famine, we think of, sub-Saharan Africa, where, there is no food and people look like, their bellies are all swollen. That's what we think famine is. Famine could easily be just a scarcity, meaning there's not as much as there usually is. Meaning you don't get to eat as much as you normally like. And that means a lot for people in this country. When you have a huge obesity problem in this country, when people, can't walk a mile without falling out from exhaustion, that's a big deal. Not being able to eat as much as you want to eat, when you want to eat, and what you want to eat. So we're going to talk about some of these biblical applications of famine, where the Bible talks about it. Most people probably didn't know there was a famine mentioned in Acts. Famine's mentioned all throughout the Bible. No, we are not accustomed to talking about famine. We always read it in some context that it's in the Bible, and that's not us. It's not those of us in this country. But we're seeing definite signs. We're seeing things that point to a scarcity of food. And with that scarcity is going to come also price hikes to get food. Again, famine does not mean there's no food. It can mean there's no food, but famine means scarcity of food. So, and we're going to talk about the different biblical times that it happened. Because, I get sick of hearing people talk about, well, I ain't worried about it, Yah's got me. And these are the same people that go to work to pay their bills. These are the same people that, get car insurance. They don't just hop in their car and drive and say, Yah got me. They don't just hop in their car and not put gas in the tank and say, Yah got me. They don't not change their oil and say, Yah got me. If their tire's flat, they don't just drive around with a flat tire and say, Yah's got me. They don't sit at home and not go to work to pay the rent and just say, Yah got me. They go to the grocery store and buy food. They don't just sit at home and put the dinner plates on the table and say, Yah got me. No. They actually do things to make sure they have food. They do things to make sure their bills are paid. They do things to make sure that there's gas in the car. They go to work. And yet, for some reason, when those of us mention the fact that there's a famine that is coming in this land, in the world, again, we're not saying no food, we're saying scarcity of food. When we say that, it's always that, oh, y'all got me. And I know what it is. It's usually people just don't want to put in the work and the sacrifice it's going to take to preserve themselves from these times, because that's going to take away from the entertainment money. That's going to take away from their vacation money. That's going to take away from their money they're going to use to go see the newest movie and get their hair did, or get their hair cut, or take that new chick out to the club. Oops, did I say that? I'm in the faith. I'm taking this chick out that I just met on the street corner. I'm taking her out to the club. We about to go to the club. In the faith. I think that this really needs to be talked about. Just so that we are aware. Just so that there is an understanding that these things happen. Routinely, often. It's not a one-off situation. Famines were routine throughout the Bible. And due to our complacency, laziness, when it comes to us, it was like, oh, it can't happen to me. And throughout this, despite all the warnings and despite all the signs and despite all the everything pointing at it, from information from farmers to agricultural people to the reports that are being, just reported all over this country, ain't gonna happen. We're gonna be good. Then you always got, you have these Bill Gates of the world buying up all the farmland. You literally have people in this country buying bunkers. The wealthy buying bunkers. The rich buying bunkers. And what people don't understand is famine is just one part of the problem. When you have famine, you have social disorder. You have legit lawlessness. And you can already see people are becoming more and more lawless, and we haven't even gotten to the famine part yet. We haven't even gotten to the scarcity part yet. We haven't even gotten to the energy crisis yet. We haven't even gotten to these other issues that are coming. We're still in the beginning of the phases, and people are already losing their damn mind. Was it the CEO or whoever it was, the Bed Bath & Beyond, already jumped out of his was a hotel or apartment window or whatever it was and committed suicide? We see some of the most heinous crimes that are taking place. Again, I've said it. Me and my brothers on Disturbers of Israel have said it many times. There seems to be a purge-like atmosphere being set up. They're creating a literal atmosphere where disorder is going to reign, where it's going to be, did you see what happened in Illinois? I have a whole video coming on about that. Illinois they just basically said that for a lot of crimes, including some violent crimes, burglary, robbery, I think it was said second-degree murder, kidnapping. If you get arrested for this, they're going to release you with no bail, meaning you're not going to have to pay a bail to get a release. Basically, it's catch and release with a promissory, please come to court this day. And that starts January 1st, 2023. A purge-like atmosphere. So we're going to talk about these things. We're going to talk about some of these different biblical applications. There's one right there. Book of Acts. We're going to talk about many, many more. All right? I hope y'all having a blessed second day. Hope you're opening up your eyes and are aware of what's going on. Shalom.